Water, not yet.
Okay.
But, okay. Do you want that filled up? I'm okay. I'll just use that.
Oh, and it should be warm. Should be tepid. Or
Warm. It's nice, yep.
Okay.
If you're working
But
with
not hot.
Not hot, because you don't want it to shock shrink.
Shock shrink.
You want these fibers to work together.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so let me just feel that.
That's good.
And then
It's also, this is cool, so it's going to disperse some of the heat as it goes.
Yeah. Okay, that's warm.
Later on,
Slightly cooler than
when you're ready to
bath
shrink and you're into that sculpting stage, you put really hot water that it makes it happen quicker. But right now, it's just warm. So I'm just pushing in, and right now I want to pull out extra water because I'm getting ready to flip it. And if it's full of water, it's heavy and it might want to slip and stretch. So removing water can make the flipping as easy as possible.
So really the idea is to really make ideal conditions for the scales to hook onto each other.
Yeah.
Instead of slipping off of each other, to bind.
So actually, before I flip it, I'm going to check and make sure that it's consistently covered. There's no weak points. And I'm really feeling for that edge of the plastic. That's one reason why you don't want to use, say, a thin plastic bag, because you'll never know where that edge is. So bubble wrap helps you to feel. I would say maybe right there might be weak, so I'm going to add a little bit. It's always good to have a towel, because if you put your wet hands in the wool, it just sticks to you. So, dry your hands first. So, a little bit of extra there. That's pretty good. When you work larger, it's trickier to do this, but so small, good way to begin. So just enough to get it wet. Moist. So the soap is a chemical process. It opens the fibers up, but also it changes the alkalinity of the wool. So traditionally, of course, people on the Mongolian steppes were not washing their wool before they used it. They were laying out dirty wool, and they would use sticks to flick it and kind of pull these fibers apart. So that was a community project, because they were flicking it with these sticks and kind of pulling those fibers apart, and then adding water, but also probably peeing on it, because you want to, or using ashes, because would be another way to change the chemistry of the wool. So I believe it's either going more acidic or alkaline, either direction.
No ashes, would that be ashes and water? Or
Yep.
you were adding water and you're adding ash to the water, so that way.
You want to know this, of course. I don't know the indigenous way. I'd like
Well,
to,
that's what the books are for. The books,
But
I
I'm
can do
guessing it's
research.
ashes and water.
Yeah.
And then, if you were making a yurt, a large item, you would be
That's huge.
rolling it up and pulling it behind a horse.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we'll be rolling it by hand. Or some people like to use sanders. Power sanders.
Oh, is that
Because
right?
it's just this little vibration.
Oh.
I've never tried it in the mixing of water and electricity. And that agitation
Yeah,
of the body,
that's a
I hate
good
that.
point.
Like it would tear it apart.
No, you put it on top of the fabric. So it just sort of,
Okay.
it just
I
fibers
feel
a
like
little
a
bit.
massager or something one of those.
Yeah, that would work. That would feel better than on sander. I can see that's a weak point right there. Especially at the bottom of the slipper. I want to add wool to that because it doesn't barely go over the edge. This right here.
Oh, I see.
So I'm just going to go ahead right now and add a little bit more. There's just not enough to pull over, so. Just put that in there. You can see this is not a science. I kind of like that. There's no counting, like knitting. Not much to a counter.
How come you never got into knitting?
I know.
It's funny.
Yeah, I like 5 of it. The world of felting is endless. There's just so much to learn, and I've tried knitting, and I'm pretty sure I just don't like to count.
In other words, math isn't your subject.
No. All right. If I were to do this again, let me take this off right now, because that's just adding mystery. Because that's just making. I'm going to add it back later. And do the surface design, but not. I don't want it to be part of the structure. That white wool, it's sort of unpredictable. Snugging it up, trying to make sure that everything is snug up against that resist. And you use it as a guide. Okay, just get my hands soapy. Oh, so soap. Almost any kind of soap works. Dawn is kind of nice because it doesn't need to be rinsed out.
Why?
Why?
Are you thinking about dishwasher soap?
Yeah.
Oh, because I just bought a bar of soap.
That's good. That's what I wanted you to do.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
a bar of soap is great because you put it on your hands and you get to move it this way.
But you still have to use dishwasher soap.
Nope.
You don't?
Nope. It's just an option.
Oh,
Dr. Bronner's works well. Their olive oil soap is kind of nice on your hands. It's not so harsh. Like Dawn is cutting grease. So that's harsh on the wool. It actually ends up creating a drier wool. So I prefer
now is the lanolin still in this wool here?
this. I don't think so, actually. You can feel it.
Okay, so it's been
Feel
taken
that
out.
compared to this. I'm pretty sure lanolin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Brownish, or what do you prefer?
Olive oil soap,
Oh,
which is nice. You can take a bar of the co-op olive oil soap and grate it.
What about just plain old ivory?
That's fine too. It's pretty harsh too.
Is it hard?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think so.
because I always think of ivory as like pure soap versus some other kind of soap.
Huh. Good, Murphy.
Yeah, I was going to say that's those old
I mean,
Yeah.
versus dial or something that's, antibacterial.
Lava.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm rubbing the wool in little circles, but I'm making sure to rub inward. If I'm rubbing outward, I'm pushing fibers away from the resist. So here's my hands are moving inward on both sides. Kind of as I do it, I'm drawing the fibers in gently. So I don't want to stretch this slipper out beyond the resist. So I'm just kind of pushing in gently. At this point, it is really just barely surface rubbing. Because I'm not working fibers together. I'm not forcing them together yet. I just want to seal the surface. And soapy hands at this point are nice because then sometimes if you're not soapy, the curtain sticks to you and moves fibers. And when you start moving fibers around, you pull them apart, and your goal is to get them to come together. And once you pull them apart, you kind of begin over again. You try to get them to settle in together. I've never had a video taken of it.
Sorry. You're a star on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
That's it, though.
Yeah.
Okay, before I do too much, I want to think about my design. I don't want to felt this and seal the surface before I put my wool on top. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to check the other side. Nothing. Okay. Add some of this.
you could tell which side is inside and outside.
Yeah.
Of
You could-
your foot.
They're reversible. So as you're working, you're going to turn them inside out and work on them.
Well, I meant left
If
and
you want
right.
Oh.
if you want the design on the outside, you just put it on one side then.
Yeah.
So not like you're doing.
Well, no,
That's
this
the
is
full outside.
this is the outside, top and bottom.
Oh, they're both the
Yeah,
outside.
because I'm going to cut it here. Foot goes in.
So, do you worry about like the center area because you folded all the edges, but the middle is
Thicker
somewhat
in the
thinner?
edges.
Does that concern you at all? or-
No.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to be thoughtful as you're laying out your
Okay.
your slipper or boot to make sure that trying to be consistent. Maybe a little bit more goes in the middle. You do have a little bit extra coming around the edges. And this part really okay because that's the bottom.
Right.
You might want to think about a little bit less pulling it in further on the top. It all kind of melts together though.